Third time's a charm. Okay, so we're going to resume with lesson 11. We can now upload files both when we are adding or editing, but the whole point of this is to be able to actually display the files. So we want to make changes both on our movies page as well as on our movie details page so that we can show movie thumbnails here if there are. And on the details page, we can show the full-size image for any movie where it has been uploaded. I'm going to go and open the movies page. And what we're going to do is, let's see, where do we want to show the movie poster? Maybe we'll show it over here if there is one. We don't really need a column heading for it. So on my movies page, after the genre heading, we're just going to put in an empty heading. There doesn't need to be any text visible. And then inside of our loop, we can write a little if statement that says, if there is an image for the movie, then display that image as a thumbnail using an HTML image tag. So I'll just create that after genre. I'm going to put in an empty set of TH opening and closing tags. And now inside of our loop, after we display the genre name, we'll add an if statement here. We will say if, not empty, our movie image. So if there is a value, a string value attached to that image, actually, I guess we need to print a new TD tag here. So I'm actually going to just, let's see, we'll add one more. We'll open the TD, but we won't close it. So we'll create an IMG tag with a source attribute of IMG and slash, and then we will append on the image name. And we'll just say alt equals maybe movie poster. Oops, that goes at the end. And again, we'll then close. Now this is going to show the image at full scale, which we don't want to do. We'll want to make it smaller. So we can add a little CSS for this. So we're going to open the column and end the column, and there may or may not be an image that gets displayed. When we have an image value, we want to render it using IMG. So let's see how this looks. A little bit wonky. So we've got some movie posters here, but they're much too big. So maybe I want to size these using a little bit of CSS. So what we'll add here is maybe a class of, we'll create a class in our style sheet called thumb for a thumbnail image. So I'll add this class attribute, which I'll then go and define. I'll maybe fix the width so all our movie posters show it the same width. If we add this class definition to this image tag. So I can go and open my style sheet in the CSS folder. And I'll just define the thumb class. We'll maybe set the width at, I don't know, we'll try it at 75 pixels. You can set it at anything you like. I found from experience that's not a bad size for a thumbnail. So if I do a hard refresh, now my movie posters at least all show kind of similar stuff. And some of the movies don't have an image. That's okay. Okay, so I've added this class definition, and I've added the thumb class into those IMG tags. So we can see all the movie posters on our main list. But when we go and edit a movie, we want to see the full-sized image on this page if there is one. So again, we added this code to the movies page so that we could show a small version of the movie poster where we have one. And if we don't have one, that's okay. So now we're going to go back to the movie details page so we can display this. So underneath this field set, we're going to open a set of PHP tags. And we will say if not empty, our actually, sorry, let's look up above when we're fetching the movie. Just want to go up here for a minute. So I'm actually going to create a new variable for the image, which we will initialize to null, and then we can populate it if we are editing. We'll set image equal to null up here, just like all our other variables. And if we fetch a movie, we can also populate then the image name as a string from our query. Right? Our query gets all the information about the selected movie. So that will include the poster image file. Okay, so I'm initializing. I've added lines 14 and line 33 down at the bottom. And when we're printing out, we're displaying all the movie values in our form, we can then check whether image is empty. If it's not empty, we will display it using an HTML IMG tag. So now we can just evaluate our image variable. If it is not empty, we will just print out here so our source again will be IMG, and then we'll append on our image file name. Put on an alt tag, and this time our class will just be offset 1, so we'll move it over to the right a bit. So if the movie has a poster attached, we will display the movie poster on the details form. At full scale, we're not going to shrink it down as a thumbnail. We're going to show the full-sized image here. If there is no movie poster, this code just gets ignored. Nothing will be here. So now I can look at two different movies, one with a poster and one without, and we'll see what our page looks like now. So I've added this block. You can see in green, lines 99 to 103. If I click on a movie with a poster, I can now see the full-sized image. But I'll probably want to wrap that in a div tag. If I go to edit a movie with no poster, that's fine. Nothing shows up here. I think if I just wrap this in a div, I think then my button will appear where I want it, below the movie poster. Yeah, so my button's down here now. Should probably add a little margin to it as well. Offset 1 and maybe add a margin of 1, just to give it a little spacing. That's what. Okay. All right, that's okay. I'll live with it there. Any movie with a poster we can see. Any movie without a poster, we don't see it. So I could now, for example, go and browse, attach the correct poster, and save. And now my Star Wars poster is showing up here as well. So mostly working now. This seems to be working. We can add a movie with or without a poster. We can edit a movie. So maybe I'll just try here my no poster test. Maybe I change the year from 2022, set it back, and save my changes and my year updates from 2021 to from 2022 back a year to 2021. Now let's try one other thing. I also want to test, I've got a movie here that already has a poster. I'm going to click it. Maybe I change the year. I don't need to re-upload the file because I've already got the right movie poster showing. So I'm just going to change the year. I'm going to change something in the details of the movie. I'll save. So my year changed correctly from 1995 to 1994, but there's a problem. What happened here and why? I had a movie poster here before. Where'd it go? It's gone now. How come this happened? And how do we prevent it? So I'm editing a movie that already has an image attached. I don't want to change the image. I don't want to have to re-upload the same image again. Why did it delete the movie poster when I do this? So again, that's right. So let's look at our code here in our save page. We have a bit of an issue here. We're looking for the image as a file that was uploaded. But if I already have a poster, I'm not uploading that file again. So my image value, it's null. So it skips all this code. And then when it goes to do my update, right, our name variable, it's empty. So we need to add a little logic here to prevent this scenario. We need to say, if we've already got an image and no file is uploaded, the image isn't being changed, we want to keep the existing image name when we update our database. Otherwise, if I save this change without uploading a new file, right, I'm removing the images, which isn't good. So here's how we're going to do that. And I think this will be the last thing we need to do. In our movie details, Can we remove an image in the future? Yeah, we could do it so that you could, if you wanted to be able to remove the image, yes. I have to think for a minute, Sarah, about how we would do it. It might be cleaner even on a separate page. So like you went to edit and then like we had a link here or a separate button that simply said remove image or like a delete on it. And then we would just update the database to set the image to null for that movie ID. And then we could also delete the image out of the folder. Probably how we would have to do that. So what I want to do for, at least for right now, is make sure, yeah, that's an excellent question. I want to make sure that if I modify something here and hit save, it doesn't remove any existing image, but I'm not required to upload the same image over and over again. So we can use a hidden field for this. So just like we are putting the movie ID in a hidden field, I'll create one called current image. And our value so we will display quote, and this will be hidden. So we'll store the name of that image in a hidden text field. And on our save page, we'll say, if the image is null, nothing's been uploaded, we'll set our name variable. Here, we'll set it equal to the current image instead. So this way it won't delete any movie poster that we've already added to the movie. A little bit tricky, but this should work. So here's our hidden input. So the user won't see this value, but it gets included in our form. And we'll add a little bit of logic on our save page that should prevent those movie images from getting wiped out of the database. So here, I'm going to go back here. So this is the code that happens when a new image has been uploaded. I'm going to add an else here. So no new image uploaded. If this movie already has an image attached, keep the name so it doesn't get deleted. So in this case, we'll say name equals we'll read that hidden field so that we're keeping the name. This should prevent that accidental removing when we go to change something else. Just this little else. If nothing, no new file has uploaded, we don't want to delete the old image. We want to keep it. We'll try it out like this. Left to test. I'll just go back here. So I still have a movie poster for Beverly Hills Cop. So I'm just going to click save. I'm not actually making any changes, but I want to make sure that this image doesn't disappear. So now I still have my poster. So I can go back and re-upload my Star Wars poster. I can re-upload my Usual Suspects poster. Now this is the wrong year. My Usual Suspects movie, it should be 1995. So I want to go in and change the year without changing the poster. This is the correct poster. I don't want to upload it again. It's not necessary. So I'll increase the year. I'm going to leave my movie poster and just save. So now my year got updated and my movie poster is still here. It hasn't been deleted. So this is the result that we were looking for. Oh, okay, that one's, I'm not sure why. I made something wrong with the image I created. Yeah, it doesn't show up. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so now I can add images when I'm editing or deleting records, or I can add movies without a movie poster as well. And we've got unique names, so we will not overwrite one movie poster with another one. We can ensure those are unique. Now I want to show you, there is the one other thing. This is all working. I'm just going to delete one of these movies for the moment. I'm going to upload my code to the server, to AWS. Delete those movie posters for a minute. Because I also have to show you, as I mentioned earlier, we need to enable certain permissions in order for this to work on the server. So I'm going to upload all the code I've written today and try it out on our live web server. So I'm going to go to FileZilla. I'm going to connect to the web server. I'm going to upload the CSS folder. And I'm going to upload these 3 pages. These are the only ones I need for today. The movies, movie details, and save movie. I'm going to upload those. And I'm going to try this image upload on the live site on AWS. Here, log in. Oh, help if I uploaded those pages from last week. Okay, now you notice my movie posters don't show up because I don't have the files. So I'm going to go and add a new movie. I'm going to put the Usual Suspects back in. I'll try to add the movie poster. Saves my movie. But notice the alt tag shows up. When I go to edit, same thing. So my movie saved, but the file upload didn't work. If I go and look in my images directory on the server, I don't have, where's my movie poster? Why didn't it work? If I look in my database, run my query again, here's my movie. It gave me, it generated a file name, but that file doesn't exist. This is a permissions error. So on AWS, by default, we don't have permissions to create new files on the server from our PHP script. And again, the notes for this are in the slide deck. So here's what we need to do. We need to enable writing permissions on the images folder. So we can do this in our FTP client. I'm going to right-click the images folder. I'm going to go to File Permissions, and I'm going to enable this box, Public Write Permission. So on the server, here's my images directory, and you'll need to do this in your assignment in order to get your file upload to work. I'm going to right-click my images folder. And down at the bottom here, in this little context menu, there's the last option says File Permission. Okay. And the PHP script that uses this public permissions, notice the read is checked and the execute is checked, but write by default is disabled. I'm going to check it, then it also changes this numeric value to 757. That's a numeric code enabling the write permissions. When I change it, so I want it to be checked. So it says 757, and public permissions are set to write. Now, if we have subfolders that we want to inherit this permission, we can check this box. I don't really need to. It doesn't matter whether this box is checked. But this one that says public permissions write, it must be checked. I'll click OK. I'm going to try again now. I'll go and edit my movie. And I'm going to try to upload the usual suspects JPEG again. Save. And now my movie poster is here. So until I enable that permission, AWS will block any files from being uploaded. You won't get an error, but the files just don't get saved to the server. Just hit refresh. We can see here's my usual suspects poster. Edit something else. Put my posters back. Okay, so those images will not get uploaded until that permission is enabled. So I can just go and add the rest of my movie posters back in by editing them. And this is now working as it should. Okay, so we can upload files, we can attach them to the records in our database, we can display them, and we can modify as we need. Okay, so this is everything I wanted to do today with file uploads. All the notes for you to reference, including how to enable the permissions. These slides are on Blackboard in the Lesson 11 folder. So I'm going to upload our code to Git, and we'll just do a quick review of checklist. There is an additional resource here. So I've linked to a separate, about 10-minute tutorial. Somebody else's take on uploading files in PHP. So if you found today's lesson confusing or difficult, I would recommend check out this tutorial as an additional reference. By next week, right, by Sunday night, you should have modified your database. Actually, well, we don't need to do that. We already set our database up. I'll just take that item out of our checklist. You should have implemented file uploads in your PHP Flicks. If you didn't quite complete the code today, it will be on GitHub and the video will be on YouTube a bit later. There is a quiz on file uploads in the Lesson 12 folder, so that's due Sunday night, and then assignment 2 is also due Sunday night. Next week is our last class before the final exam, and we are going to talk about and work with APIs next week. I already did, Elena. The video link for version B is actually in the assignment document. Well, it's a little hard to do a video for assignment A because everyone's assignment A is different. So I'm not exactly sure how I would do that because assignment A is starting from your assignment 1 submission. So if you've got specific questions, then maybe book an office hours appointment and we can look at them. But I think if I make a video, I'm concerned that will just confuse people because everyone's assignment 1 will be different from the version of I do in a demo. So feel free to book an appointment if you need some help. Okay, I will push everything up to GitHub. And feel free to send me an email or book an appointment if you do need some help with your assignment. Okay, have a great week. I can stick around in the WebEx room if you have questions or need a little debugging help. We have a little time window for that. Okay, have a great week.